How's it going, my lovely butterflies? This is the Awakened Butterfly, and I am back with another video. If this is your first time coming across my channel, please stay for the entire video. If you enjoy the content, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to my channel. Welcome and welcome back, guys. I hope everyone's taking care of themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. I feel very honored to be able to present this video to you guys today. As you can tell by the title, this video is another gang stalking video, and I will be discussing how gang stalkers use projection tactics against you. Guys, there's a lot of manipulation going on these days. There's to the point where there's master manipulators, and it's causing people to not trust each other. Even if there's someone that's actually presenting themselves in a very trustworthy way, they're treating you good, they're respecting you, they're understanding and respecting your boundaries, you still side eye and wonder, why is this person really in your life? And it's not because you want to give them a hard time, but it's because you're trying to protect yourself, protect your energy, and your overall safety. So with that being said, I'm going to get into the Google definition of psychological projection. And that is a defense mechanism that involves someone attributing their own thoughts, feelings, desires, and qualities upon another person, group, animal, or object. So as you can see, projection is known as a defense mechanism. And since these different defense mechanisms of projection is used by gang stalkers and narcissists, it also explains another reason why it's so hard to differentiate who's there for you and who's not there. And many people use defense mechanisms such as these projection tactics to defend themselves from anxiety and uncomfortable situations. Because as you guys know, a lot of times when people are uncomfortable with doing something, they may just avoid it altogether. And sometimes instead of just straight up avoiding situations, they have certain things that they do in order to avoid the situation. Because sometimes they don't want you to know, well, majority of the time, they don't want you to know that they're avoiding the situation because they're uncomfortable as is. And they feel that if they explain this to someone, it will draw a lot of attention, a lot of unwanted questions. They feel like there will be even more pressure to communicate. And since we're talking about gang stalkers, a lot of the times they most definitely don't want to communicate because they feel like since they're always up to something, communicating will expose them in some sort of way. And subconscious reactions is one of the things that has been used as a reason for why people use defense mechanisms. And a lot of the times when people are defending themselves and they use certain mechanisms, it could be subconsciously or consciously, which means that sometimes they may not be aware that they're even using the defense tactic, depending on what they've been through in the past, what type of trauma situations, how severe it was. Sometimes they could maybe subconsciously use these defense mechanisms and they're not fully aware of it. But however, not wanting to take accountability can also cause a person to use defense mechanisms as well. And when we're talking about the gang stalker, I feel that that is the case. We're going to get into these projection tactics. Guys, if you're just now experiencing projection or you're just now hearing about projection, I'm going to let you know in my own words what projection is, okay? Let's say, for instance, you've been around someone long enough that you know their actions, you know how they are, and you know yourself. And when you try to discuss something with this person, or even if not, they can maybe be having a bad day and they begin to call you all of these names, accuse you of all of these things. And in the back of your mind, you're confused because you know that you're not doing any of these things. You know that you're not none of those things that they're projecting upon you. But somewhere deep down in the back of your subconscious mind, you have experienced a lot of these actions and traits coming from this person that's projecting these things upon you. So at that time, you're really confused as to why they're blaming these things on you when you've most definitely experienced them within them. So one of the projection tactics is irrational beliefs, and that's where paranoia comes from in some cases. And this is where a person will project their internal beliefs and actions upon another person, and they will have an adequate consequence as to why. I'm sorry, they will have an adequate reason as to why this consequence took place. When talking about the gang stalker, they're constantly doing devious things, which could raise a lot of paranoia. And if you guys know a lot of people in your life that they're always doing, low down things to people, betraying people, they're pretty much always paranoid, always looking over their shoulders, always, they move around in a group of people so they can constantly have someone watching their back because they're paranoid. They feel that they're gonna get the same karma that they've, things that they've done to other people. And sometimes these people can use that type of paranoia behavior as a defense mechanism to hurt innocent people. So if you're dealing with a person that's paranoid all the time, constantly, and you know that this is a dishonest person, know that they've developed some type of irrational beliefs as to why they should be this way, other than the reality of how they've actually brought these things upon themselves, of how they've treated people. They will avoid that and bring in the defense mechanism that someone's out to hurt them. They haven't done anything to deserve this, so they have to move this way. They have to act this way. And these type of people usually always have some type of weapon on them. Not all the time, because there are some people out here that has been severely hurt. They're innocent and they just want to protect themselves. Like women may be licensed to carry, or a man, but they're not a violent person. Or a woman may have a stun gun in her purse, just maybe because she's been through something in the past. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the ones that are out here betraying people, and they become paranoid. And since it's in their nature to betray people and be dishonest, they start to use this irrational belief projection in order to keep doing these things to people. And now they have now developed an irrational belief for it, which is their excuse, right? So I feel that when you're dealing with these type of people, they can do something to hurt you, or, and then they will use the fact that they've been through something as to why they're so paranoid. But deep down that this person has a track record for being a dishonest person, a shiesty person. The best thing to do is to not hang with these type of people. If they're paranoid and you know why they're paranoid, from being dishonest and betraying people, and they've done a lot of bad things to people, if you hang with those people, you too will receive their karma. That's just how it is, because you're sharing energy with them, so whatever they receive, you receive the same, even though you're innocent and you have nothing to do with what they took place in. You probably didn't even know them when they were doing a lot of those things. So watch out for that, guys. Sign number 2, assuming others share your thoughts, beliefs, and opinions. It's called complementary projection. This is where the gang stalker will assume that everyone shares their same thoughts, beliefs, and opinions about everything. And that's how they single people out. Okay, this is a defense mechanism that they use to single out the strong from the weak. If they can if they can project manipulation upon you to get you to think like them, act like them, talk like them, prioritize like them, they now have control over you. Those are the ones that they go after. If they realize that they can't change you, they will keep trying to manipulate you, and once they see it doesn't work, they will eventually weed you out. But they will try hard. I mean very hard. It's a battle for strong people when they're dealing with these, with gang stalkers using these type of tactics. It's a strong battle because the reason why they want you to think like them and have the same beliefs as them is so they can manipulate you. And if they can get you to think like them, act like them, believe the same things that they believe, it makes it easy for them to take advantage of you and, carry out their mission with you, whatever they're there for, to break you. They feel like they now have you under control. I feel like we all should respect each other's opinions. No one should try to change anyone to their liking. That's what should attract us to each other, the fact that we are different people. We share our own thoughts, opinions. We have our own different ways that we prioritize in our lives. So if someone's trying to get you to pretty much take on their life, they're trying to replicate you, stand strong, stand 10 toes, and don't let anyone do that to you. Let them know that you appreciate the individuality that God gave you, and you don't need anything extra. You're fine with being who you are. The third is placing someone's irritating traits onto someone else. Now, this can go in two ways. Let's say for instance, the gang stalker is going through something with someone else. It could even be the person that's over them. And they could be annoyed with the irritating traits that they project upon them. Well, who they feel is the weakest link in their lives, usually the empath that they prey upon, they project all of those things from the person that they're too much of a coward to stand up to. They project all those things on the weaker person that they feel is the weaker person. And they may say things like, you're stupid, you're annoying, you're lame, you're dumb, you're ugly, you can't never do anything right. These are things that someone has said to them. Although you've showed them the total opposite of the things that they're saying to you. This is their way of putting someone else down to make them feel better about themselves because someone else is doing it to them. So they're feeding their ego and they're trying to defend their emotions at the same time. They're trying to defend their heart at the same time. And, it's a very selfish thing to do because you don't have to hurt someone else in order to protect your feelings from someone else. You just don't have to do that. So that lets you know that there's more to the situation. This person's trying to break you all together and make you feel bad about yourself. They're trying to pull you down to their level because misery most certainly loves company, okay? Why do they project? Well, it's usually because that the things that they say to you is the same way that they feel about themselves. I did some research and I found that Sigmund Freud and his daughter Anna Freud, they created a theory from psychoanalysis and psychodynamic therapy. And they came up with the cognitive behavioral theory, which states that they feel that when people use these type of defense mechanisms, that it's coming from irrational beliefs and actions instead of their own subconscious defense mechanism. Like they feel like it's not coming from a subconscious place. They feel like it's being stemmed from their own irrational beliefs and actions as to how they feel like they've developed their own way of how they should handle these situations, what works for them. It makes a person very selfish when they create their own defense mechanisms for their own selfish reasons. If you know you've done something wrong and someone wants to talk to you about it and you say, well, I'm not comfortable with communicating because every time I try to open up to someone, they attack me and I feel like you're about to do the same thing. I mean, just things like that. When you can tell that this person is not that type, they've never demonstrated that type of hostile behavior with you, they've always been cool, laid back, easygoing. You just know that there's some things that's about to come up that you're not wanting to discuss because you've manipulated this person the whole time. And now that you feel like it's getting to the point that you have some explaining to do as the gang stalker, you don't want to talk about it because you feel like your cover is going to be blown, right? All right, so now guys, okay, we're going to talk about projection in relationships, okay? And in this situation, I'm going to be talking about romantic relationships, all right? This is when one partner reminds the partner of traits that they dislike about themselves. They've already discussed, let's say for instance, when you first get into a relationship with someone and you've already discussed everything with each other, you've opened up even down to your flaws, the things that you don't like about yourselves. And as time goes on, you realize that, hey, this person, I can tell that they're really here for me. They really care about me. But your motive for being there as the gang stalker doesn't allow you to appreciate this person for who they are. Because that's not what you're there for. You're there to manipulate, break them down, and do all of that so you can control them. And you will then the gang stalker will then start to project the things that they don't like about themselves onto their partner. And a lot of the times when you're really a genuinely wholehearted person, it confuses you when you know that you're putting more than 100% into your relationship and someone does this to you. They will begin to blame their partner for their own flaws. And this is to defend themselves from the things that they're actually doing because they feel that if it keeps going on, that conversation is going to eventually stem from their partner. They're going to want to talk about it. Any genuine person in a relationship would want to communicate about what's going on. If this is a dishonest person, as the gang stalker most likely is, they're not going to want to talk about it. So it's just going to be a continuous cycle of them insulting their partner from the way that they feel about themselves because they're not happy with themselves, and it would just leave their partner confused, wanting to talk about it, but it keeps getting swept away by this defense mechanism. And at this point, you will find yourself repeatedly arguing with your partner because they're using this defense mechanism every time they feel like this conversation that they've been avoiding is about to stem. The gang stalker will begin to be upset with their partner, and they will be so irritated with them that they can't even tell their partner why they're mad at them. This is how unhappy they are with themselves. The partner, usually the empath in the relationship, they will begin to be confused as to why the situation even took place. Why it's so blown out of proportion. Why is this person getting so upset with me? What am I doing so wrong? It's all a tactic. It's all a tactic to break you down, just like all the other gang stalking tactics that are used. Now, this form of projection is a little different from a romantic relationship. This is projection in parenting. This is when the child, it doesn't matter the age, it could be a young child, a teenager or adult, when their parent is projecting their failures upon them, things that they had to put on hold. Let's say, for instance, if your parents were pursuing a certain career and then they got pregnant with you and they had to put it on hold. A lot of the times they will usually resent the child for that, is especially if they see that child exceeding, doing well in school, about to graduate, go to college. They can tell that their child has a bright future ahead of them. And a lot of parents are secretly sent in to break their children down because they're a part of some group that is sending them to do this, because they already know that what the parent has been through, because them too have been evaluated and surveillance. They know that these parents had to put their life on hold for their child. So they will either do two things. They will try and make you feel insecure and break you down to keep you from moving forward, because they see you moving in a good direction that they too were once going in, and unlike them, you have nothing holding you back. Or they will try and push you to pick up where they left off in their career. Like, let's say, for instance, for example, if one of your parents were a dancer and they were doing very well in that area and they had to stop because they got pregnant with you, they will try and push that child to be a successful dancer. Things of that nature. And you really see it with sports a lot. You see a lot of parents, they will push their children in that direction because that's something that they used to do when they were younger, and they felt like they didn't do well in that area, or they had to put it off. And they will really put a lot of pressure on that child, to go in that area. And that too is a form of gang stalking within itself, because it's like someone's being sent in to knock that child off of their true purpose. So never let I'm talking to anyone, children, teens, adults. Never let your parents try and project their failures or anything upon you. Things from the past that they're not happy about. Any place in their life that they feel like needs to be picked up where they left off, and you need to pick it up and carry on. No, your life is your life. You love your parents, you respect your parents, but at the end of the day, your life is your life, and no one can live your life for you. Third is projection in work. And this is where the gang stalker feels that everyone should mimic them. And in other words, dress like them, act like them, think like them. It's like uniform. It's like they want you to do everything like them, but they're the leader of the group. So it's like they're trying to form minions, a bunch of minions, They want you to look like them, act like them, talk like them, and they want you to look up to them, I'm sorry. And when you don't do these things, they try and X you out or put you down. This can either do two things to a person. This can either make them stronger and break away from it, or it can break them down and make them give into it and, become a part of this person. Let this person control their lives, because that's pretty much what they're aiming to do. When it's like what's equally important to them should be equally important to you, no matter what the situation is, whether it's good or bad. It's like, oh, you're my friend, or, oh, you're a part of me, then I expect you to think this way and act this way. If not, we can't have anything to do with each other. You can't be a part of me. And there are some people out there who idolize people, or they really admire a person. They really want to be in their lives, and it sometimes makes them vulnerable to situations like this. Another form is projection in friendships. And this is where you may have that friend that is insecure, and they could be secretly jealous of their friend. It doesn't always have to be about looks. It can be, their friend could be A social butterfly. They could be, a social person. They could be smart, have a great personality, a great sense of humor, outgoing. There's so many, qualities about a person that a person could envy if they don't possess those qualities. And instead of them just telling their friend, look, I'm insecure going places with you, you're the life of the party, or I don't know how to open up like you, or just certain things, they will lash out at their friend for no reason. They will project the way that they feel about their friend. They will project it the way that they feel about themselves when they secretly compare themselves to their friend. That's what they will project onto that friend. Like, you're jealous, you're clingy, you're needy, when in all reality the only reason why that the gang stalker wanted to become a part of that person's life was because they were popular and they were social, and they felt like it would open them up to meeting other people that they could pull these tactics on, other targets. So they will then project these things upon this friend, hoping that they can get the friend to change. And once that friend does change, the gang stalker will then begin to mimic this person's entire personality, everything about them. From the way that they dress, act, even begin to recite different quotes from this person, tell the same jokes, all of that. It's crazy. Ways that you can prevent these things from happening or acknowledge when these things are happening is to increase your spiritual awareness, guys. Pray, meditate, drink plenty of water. I prefer alkaline water, but if not, spring water is good as well. Fast. You don't have to fast 5 to 7 days. You can fast. You can skip a meal in a day and use that time to pray to the Lord about anything that you want to talk or pray to him about. And asking him for spiritual awareness will most definitely increase your discernment and help you to recognize when these things are happening. Number 2, pay attention to others' reactions. Guys, I cannot say this enough. Sometimes we can get caught up in the moment. We're having fun. We're meeting new people. We're just, outliving our lives. And we're not paying attention to the people that we're meeting, the people around us. Sometimes we can be so caught up in everything about that person, but we never pay attention to who they really are, to how they're really moving. So always pay attention from from their body gesture, because that can let you know if they're aggressive, their facial expressions, everything. Pay attention to everything, how they treat other people, especially the people that they claim to be very dear in their lives. Pay attention to all of that. That will really also help you recognize when these things are happening, because if you're studying them, or I don't want to say study them, but paying attention to them, when they do begin to project, you will be able to recognize the traits. You can say, like, wait a minute, that's how this person moves, but they're trying to say I'm doing it. You're projecting. The third thing, pay attention to your own actions very well. So that way, make sure you know yourself very well. So that way no one can pull anything on you, because that master manipulation will have you question yourself, even though you know yourself. But this person, they're so good at what they do, you can't help but to question yourself. And when they begin to project, and this more than likely is going to come from someone that you care about, because that's how a lot of gang stalkers and narcissists make their way in before they start pulling these things. They come in as a very nice, trustworthy person, and once you let them in, then the veil comes off. So always pay attention to yourself. Make sure you're up to par with yourself, so that way no one can project anything upon you and have you feeling confused about your own actions. Guys, I hope this video helps someone. I love you guys so much. You guys don't understand how much I love you guys. All 560 of you guys, I really appreciate you. I have 560 butterflies. I am so blessed. You guys really motivate me to keep these videos coming. I will continue to do so. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Share this video if you don't care. Like I said before, that Instagram is coming very soon. And until the next video, guys. Continue to take care of yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Pray, meditate, drink that water. Get it in, guys. Get you a fast in, and you'll be good to go. I love you guys so much. And until the next video, peace and love.